Welcome. Hello. Thank you for joining me. I'm so excited to have everybody here who is here, whether you are live or whether you're watching the recording. Thank you so much for showing up for this. My name is Liz, and I am a trained and certified content marketing specialist. And that means I write content, personalized, authentic, optimized content for conscious creators who are trying to attract and retain not just more clients, but their dream clients. And I also am a mindfulness practitioner. I am also a lifelong dedicated journaler. I have been a word nerd, writing and creating stories and storytelling for 25 years. And I have found a way to kind of blend that with the work that I do in marketing. I've been doing working on marketing copy for about 16 years. So that's a little about me. I would love to know if you are here live, where you are tuning in from. If you could just type in the chat where you're from, it would be great to know who all is here and where you're tuning in from. And in the meantime, I'm going to go over a few things for today. So today we're going to be working on marketing. And one thing I really wanted to say is that most of the people I work with feel like because they're creating businesses that are conscious, they're creating them very intentionally to be of service to people. They feel like what they do is so very different from marketing and selling themselves that they need to take off their coaching hat, their teaching hat, their consulting hat, whatever it is that they do to be of service to people, whatever it is that they're passionate about, whatever it is that they love doing, they need to totally take that hat off and then put on this marketing hat. And this marketing hat is like, it's like itchy and uncomfortable, and they don't like the way they look in it, and it's no fun to wear it. And my contention is that you should not wear any hats, that you should just show up like totally bald headed and vulnerable and ready for anything, and do what it is that you love, that you are inspired to do, that you are gifted at doing. And when you're marketing, you're just doing that in a more public way. And I get that that is uncomfortable. Like, that is uncomfortable for me. That is uncomfortable for most people that I know. But the reason that I developed this journal, 21 Days to Awakened Marketing, to help people get more comfortable with creating a really truthful voice for themselves and their business that really aligns with what it is that they feel like they're here to do. So if you haven't downloaded the journal yet, don't worry about that. I have mine all like bound and fancy. It's just a PDF on my website, so you may just have it digitally. You may have printed it out. It may not be all bound like this. It might just be stapled. And however you have it is totally fine. If you don't have it, that is also totally fine right now. I'm going to be sharing my screen today, so you'll be able to see all the writing prompts that I'm working on. And at the end of this whole broadcast, you can go to the website and download the journal if it's something that resonates for you, if it's something that you feel like you want to continue with. We're doing a very short session today because I know we've all got to get into work. We've got things to do. And so don't worry if you don't get a lot of journaling in today, but I do hope that you continue this work later. For today, all you need is like just a regular old journal if you don't have the downloaded journal printed out, just anything to write in. Some of my younger clients even like to write in their phones, and that's totally fine. However, it feels like the easiest integration for you is what you should do today. So let's just see, before I get started with some of the prompts, let's just see. I've got Michael. Hi, Michael from Irvine. I've got Molly. Hello, Molly. It's so exciting to have you here. I can't see you, but it's exciting to have you here. Kim just raves about you. And I've got my dear friend Stephanie from Santa Clarita. And so let's just dive in. I'm going to share my screen. I have never done a Facebook Live event before, so bear with me. It showed me a way to share my screen before. when I wasn't live broadcasting, and now like that button is gone. So let's see how I can share my screen. Let's look at settings. In the meantime, while I am figuring this out, if you want to type into the chat, thank you, Molly. If you want to type into the chat, um, what kind of business you are in, and if you know how you're feeling about your marketing. Are you struggling with it? Are you excited about it? Are you on fire with your marketing, or are you like, I don't want to show up and do that? um, let me know a little bit about where you are with all of this. And if you can't right now, if you can't interact in the chat today because you're multitasking, I get it. If you're watching the recording, it would be great for you to kind of like turn things off and get your journal and be focused here. But I have done so many of these things where I'm multitasking. I totally get it. So whatever is happening for you right now is completely fine. I don't know how to share my screen, so I'm going to have to figure that out before my next live broadcast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to hold up my thing to the screen. Okay, so the first prompt that's in the journal, if you have it, is a really, really important prompt that I have everybody start with. And this is great if you're at the beginning of a business, if you're launching something new, if you're launching a new project, or if you're in the middle of your business and you're just like, I just want to get more authentic and feel more comfortable with my marketing. Or if you're just starting a creative project, maybe you've like been thinking of writing a book forever. Maybe you are trying to do something creative, or even like a personal goal that you've set for yourself. Maybe for 2023, you've set a personal goal and you're a little like hesitant about it or a little scared about it. This is really good for all of that. So this prompt is from Elizabeth Gilbert's book, Big Magic. I so highly recommend this book for everybody. People think it's just a book for writers like me and total word nerds like me, and it is not. It's a book about how to bring more creativity into your life. And everybody needs more creativity in their life. Whether you think of yourself as a creative person or not, interacting with people is creative. Like if your job is to, I don't know, like make tissue boxes, if that's your job, you're creating something. Like we're all creative beings. And especially in this day and age, we've got AI, we've got robots coming for us, coming for our jobs. Like the jobs that are going to be the most important moving forward are going to be creative jobs, where we're really integrating our creativity. So the prompt from this book, which I'm not going to have you do today because it's really intense. So if you haven't done it yet, after the broadcast, find some time to do it. It is day 1 in the journal, and it is about fear. It's about letting yourself have your fear, because most of us are taught to shove our fear down, and that if we want to be successful, especially in business, if you want to be successful, you've just got to show up, you've got to be brave, you've got to be Superman, you've got to have like no fear. And the fact is that fear and creativity go hand in hand. They just do. You can't be creative without your fear like showing up and shouting at you and being like, oh no, don't do that. There might be a saber-toothed tiger around the corner. Don't go that way. Don't create a new path in your life. And if you try to shut that voice up, what you do is you shut up your whole system. You shut down your whole system. And what Liz Gilbert talks about is embracing it. And so the first prompt is all about that fear. If you are from Kim Maxwell's little group up in Ojai, like I know Molly is, and you're from the townies, her version of this is the inner critic exercise. And you're never done with this exercise, by the way. I have done it so many times. At the beginning of every single project that I do this prompt. But the second prompt, which I think is super important, is to make a list of ways that you can take care of yourself before you go into this marketing world. Because my belief as I'm creating this business around the idea of awakened marketing. And my belief is that we are going to attract the right people. We're going to attract the people who really are going to benefit from our business, who are really going to be dream clients for us, who get it, who are going to understand it, who are going to go with it, who we're going to like fill ourselves up by watching them grow and watching them expand. That's going to happen if we focus on attraction rather than promotion. So instead of like putting on your marketing hat and being like, okay, I've got this service and let me sell this service now, get quiet, get present, fill your own bucket up, make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Because if you are, then people will see that and they'll be like, what are you doing? What have you got going on that you've got this whole relaxed energy to you? I want that. How do I get that? Okay. And that will work whether you're in finance or whether you're in like healing. Okay. People in finance want to be more relaxed about their finances, right? They want to be able to not be stressed out about it, right? So if you're coming to your marketing haggard and stressed and like, oh my gosh, I've been doing 500 things today and I've just got to take a break and do this post because I know I have to do posts because social media is so important, that's going to be the energy you're going to create that post out of. And you want your energy that you're creating out of to be relaxed, to be full, to be conscious, to be joyful. And so what can you do today? What can you do on the daily to take care of yourself? And this prompt in the journal, it is like, I don't know if you can see my screen, but it's like just make a list. It's just like a laundry list of things that you can do. Yoga, have a cup of tea, take a 5-minute break, stretch, whatever it is for you. I would love, since this is a very simple prompt, if you have some ideas about what you want to commit to doing for your self-care, if you throw them into the chat so we can talk about them a little bit. And in the meantime, I'm going to go through some of the older comments in here. So Michael says, my marketing is a work in progress. Have come a long ways and I'm learning every day. That's great. And that's such a great way to think about it too, to not feel like you have to be perfect. It's all about process. It's all about progress, not perfection. Molly works in a nonprofit and is feeling overwhelmed by it, and I can completely relate. Also, like, I'm shooting in the dark sometimes. And that I totally, totally get, especially in this digital marketing age. You put stuff out there and sometimes you don't know whether it's the right thing or whether it's hitting the right people. And the thing I will say about that is, because you've gotten present, because you've gotten truthful, because you know what works for you. And it may not work, it shouldn't work for everybody. You don't want the entire world coming into your business. You wouldn't be able to handle it, right? You want people who are really going to be able to get what you're doing and expand from what you're doing. And if you are walking your walk and doing your thing, and saying, I don't know if this is the right marketing move. I don't know if this is smart. I don't know if, this is SEO optimized, but I'm just going to do it because it feels right to me. It's going to attract, it may just attract that one client. You may get one like on it, whatever it is, but that one person might be the exact thing that your business needs right now. So trust yourself is what I'm going to say about that. And Molly's going to prioritize breakfast. Excellent, excellent. Really, really super important. It is. You really can't. You can't do this on an empty stomach. All right. So we're about halfway through, and I am going to move on to the next prompt. So, first I'm just going to talk a little bit about the prompts. I was going to scroll through them on the screen, and I'll figure out how to do that before next time. But and thank you, Michael, for letting me know that you can see this. So day 3 in the journal, is all about like personifying your business a bit and having fun with it, and just having fun with like getting to know your business's voice. So I have prompts in here like, if your business was an ice cream, what flavor would it be? Like that kind of stuff. And I invite you to like go further with that, like whatever creative stuff comes to mind, of just having fun with your business. Because the more that we show up like, it's my business and it's got to be serious and I've got to do this marketing thing, the more that people are going to get that energy from us. So if we're like writing prompts about, what color is my business's favorite color, and like having fun being creative with that, and playing this game of personifying our business, it's going to let you show up to your work with much more play and much more joy. And that's what people are going to respond to. Um, and the next few prompts are all kind of like that. I've got you telling the story of your business. I've got you coming up with different words. Some of these are like longer prompts. I give you a couple pages in the journal for it, and you want like some expansive time to do that. And some of them are lists, like the self-care list. Things like come up with all the verbs you can think of to describe what you do. So like teach, coach, instruct, any verbs that you can think of. And you're going to use those later when you get towards the end of the journal. You're going to go back and use those when you're trying to come up with your sort of 50-second pitch. I'm sorry, your 30-second or 50-word pitch, your mission statement, all the copy that you're going to need to write to get your business going. But for now, you're not trying to do that. You're just trying to have fun. You're just trying to write whatever, because when you're writing, you should know that nobody's looking at this. This is only for you. You don't have to censor yourself. You can write stuff that later on you're going to be like, what the heck was I thinking when I wrote that? And that's totally fine. And you need to have that feeling of play as you're approaching your marketing. So that's the first week of the journal. And then day 8, I come to a prompt that's inspired by another writer. I've got like 3 prompts in here that are not my own, that are inspired by other writers. Although a lot of these prompts are like, so many writing coaches that I've had have done these prompts that I don't know who to attribute it to. It's just like we all kind of know these prompts that, you'll recognize some of them. But this one is from The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. If you are in any kind of creative mode, Molly, I'm looking at you particularly, and you haven't done The Artist's Way, I highly recommend it. And this particular prompt is about listing your Hall of Champions. So people who have always supported you. You need to have a strong support system when you're doing this. So, for instance, Molly works with my friend Kim, and she's in my Hall of Champions. She has always supported my work. She has always like stood up for me if I am feeling just totally crappy and like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I call her, and you need to know who those people are. But then I'm going to push you further and have you start to write like from those people's point of view, some adjectives about you. How would they describe you? Because we have a very hard time doing that for ourselves. Most of the people I work with, no matter what gender you are, a little more tuned into your yin energy. And, if you don't know Eastern stuff, don't worry about it. But it's something that we're trained, those of us on the yin side of things, are trained, whether we've been told it directly or whether we just learned it from our society, from growing up in this society. We're trained not to brag, not to talk about ourselves, not to draw attention to ourselves. A lot of us have a hard time attributing something to ourselves. We will say like, well, we did this, when sometimes we need to say, I did this. I did this. And yes, I had help. And yes, the whole universe was behind me and uplifting me and helping me do this. But sometimes you need to, to take that step. It is easier to do it from somebody else's point of view. So I have you go into like, okay, who's somebody who really supports you? What would they say about you? Because when we come to the place where we have to write our bio, we have to write our resume, we have to write our website copy and sort of talk about ourselves in the third person, and it's so weird and icky, and then we're bragging about ourselves and pretending that we're not really ourselves because we're talking in the third person. all of that can be so yucky that there's no way you're going to write something authentic and really true to you. But oddly, if you step outside of yourself and you look at yourself from the point of view of somebody who, really supports you and loves you, and you get that and you're able to receive that from them, we're able to receive that better from, our best friend than we're able to receive it from ourselves. So I have you kind of do that a little in the journal. And then the next prompt, which I am going to hold up, but I can't read it because, oh no, I can read it because I've got it on my screen. Okay, so I'm going to hold it up and I'm going to read it because this is the one I want you guys to do today. And it's really weird and it's going to feel really icky. This is not writing a bio. This is writing like a really gushy, exuberant celebration testimonial for yourself. So, you go to websites and people have written reviews and they've written like, oh my gosh, she was amazing. She did this great thing for me and it changed my whole life. You want to write that for yourself. And I want you to let that feel yucky and let it feel icky and just do it anyway. I'm going to put on some music for a few minutes here and let you write that. It is really like from yourself to your business persona. So if it was me, it would be something like, Liz completely changed my life when she discovered how to combine her love of story and her creativity with her marketing knowledge. It just was revolutionary for me, and it really helped me to sink into myself and to feel the power of what I can do. Something like that, okay? And it's going to feel yucky. It's going to be like, I don't want to brag about myself, but just do it. Just do it. I'm going to put on some music. If you feel comfortable, and I'm not going to force anyone to do this, but if you feel comfortable and you want to write your testimonial into the chat, go for it. I'd love to hear some testimonials, okay? So I'm going to hold this up here so that you guys can see it. I'm going to play a little music. Oh, is it not going to let me play music because I'm broadcasting? It's not going to let me play music either. All right, that's okay. I'm just going to hold this up and just give you some quiet time. If you've got your phone near you and you want to put on a little jazz or put on something to write by, you go for it. Okay, and if you are doing this live, when you feel like you're done, just throw a little thumbs up or something into the chat so I know people are done. All right, and take like 30 more seconds. Great. Okay, so talk to me in the chat. Tell me what that was like for you. Was it really weird? Was it cool? Was it like fun? Um, Anybody got any thoughts about how it felt for you? And if you didn't have time to do this live because you're multitasking, don't worry about it. Just do it afterwards. And I meant to say, it's also important to know you don't need to do these prompts in the order I created them. I did create them with some intentionality. I did, think about the journey I wanted to take you on, but you are your own person. I don't know you, and you might get to day 4 and say, "Oh, I'm not feeling that today. I want to do day 5 instead." And that's fine. You can skip around in the journal. You can do the prompts in any order you want to. Um, Completely and totally fine. And I also want to, I've got some prompts here. I've got some comments here. Molly says, awkward, but also helped to remind me of my strengths. Good. Excellent. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that you guys use these prompts to not be like, okay, this is awkward, but I'm not going to feel awkward about it. I'm just going to do it. To embrace the awkwardness, embrace the fear, embrace the weirdness, embrace all of that, and then move through it anyway, and then realize at the end of it, like, oh, but I do have these strengths. I have these strengths that I need to remember. If I'm going to do this, I need to be aware of, like, I am really good at this. I'm really good at this, and I'm excited to share it with people, to share my value with people. So I'm going to challenge you. We only have a couple minutes left. I'm going to challenge you, now that you've been through this, to, if you haven't downloaded the journal yet, to go to the website and download the journal. It's the first pinned comment in the chat here. So you can just scroll to the top of the chat, or maybe it just shows it to you automatically. Download the journal. And if you haven't yet done day 1, I would definitely start with that, and I would schedule a time. Like, take your phone out. If you don't have time right now, if you've got to jump into work right at 9 o'clock, take some time to look at your calendar and say, you know what, I can do it at 3:30 today, though, or I can do it tomorrow morning. I'm going to wake up early and do it at 7:30 before I have to get to my job. Whatever it is, find a time that you can schedule to do that. And in fact, it would be great for you to schedule in your phone to remind yourself, even if you can't do it like right when your reminder pops up. If you start having reminders ping you on your phone once a day to remind you just to look at your journal. Like, even if you don't end up doing a prompt, even if you're like, today is crazy and I can't do a prompt today, but just to look at it, just to touch base with it, and just to say, okay, I just want to acknowledge that there's a spiritual, creative part of me that wants to be explored here, as I'm also doing all these millions of other things that are on my to-do list. And maybe even before you do all these millions of things, they're going to be done better if you bring your creativity into it first. So schedule some time for yourself to work with the journal, and also join me again next week if you can. I'm going to try to do this every week for a little while, to just give people a sense of what they can do with their businesses if they allow for some more open, creative flow into their world of marketing, and to kind of soften a little bit around that idea. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. I so appreciate it. If you're watching the recording, thank you for watching, and please feel free to DM me or let me know how it went for you. And if there's anything in the journal that you have questions about that you'd like me to address the next time that I'm here. And thank you, Molly, for being here. Thank you, Stephanie, and thank you, Michael, and everyone else who's watching this later on. You guys are why I'm here. So thank you for being here. All right. Have a wonderful day, and bring some creativity into your day in some way today, and bring some self-care. Don't forget those self-care prompts that we did towards the beginning. Don't forget, Molly, you're going to wake up tomorrow and you're going to eat some breakfast before you do anything. Okay. All right. Have a wonderful day, everybody.